Welcome back to the cargo trailer conversion, and we're going way back here, about a month and a half at least. Not one day after I got this portion of the project completed, I had to get back to my actual job, and I did a bathroom and kitchen renovation. What I'll be doing in this episode is creating SIPS panels that I'll be making from 1.5 inch foam and 1/4 inch Luan. In the previous episode, I had already installed the cleats on the wall, and here I am cutting out the foam to fit tight into those cleats. The next step will be cutting the Luan to fit over the cleats. Once I had all these pieces cut out, it was going to be time for glue up. With all the pieces cut and test fitted to make sure everything would be nice and snug in here, it was time to start laying out and doing my glue up. I'm making this up as I go because I'd never done it before, but I'm using a Loctite PL glue to do this. Once I had the Luan glued up, I laid the foam board down, and accuracy was key here because this has to fit tight in between those cleats I put on the wall, and they have to be able to slide over. Anytime you're laminating something, pressure is key. So once I had the first panel made, I started stacking plywood on top of it for pressure before starting the next panel. Once I got both of these panels glued up and made sure everything was accurate with the overhangs for being able to slide over the cleats, it was time to start stacking plywood on top of this for pressure. By my calculations, we are looking at between 300 and 400 pounds of pressure on these panels. Once I let those dry up, it was time to unstack that plywood and install these. Yes, what I'm showing you here is a mistake. I did have to cut a portion of that off and attach that into the SIPS panel. As you can see, I got a nice tight fit on both the ceiling and the walls. So I glued up the cleats, glued up the panel on the inside. I'll show you on this panel how the SIPs were made. I'll do it maybe on this side where you can see. There you can see the cleat, foam board, and the 1/4 inch ply. Well, one's 5mm and one's 1/4. That's all glued inside of there. So that's what we're looking at here. I made wire baskets on each side because with these aluminum trailers, the sides can bow out, and right here they were bowing out. This panel here is completely square on both top and bottom, so I am pulling the wall in to square up here so that when I build my cabinets on the other side, they also will sit square instead of having this bowed out wall. So I got a little bit of tension there. Everything slid up, held into place, and now I'm going to nail it around the edges on both sides, just like I did here when I was gluing up the SIPS panels. And that's really just to hold it in place where I want it while I take all this stuff off, and 24 hours later, this will all be set in stone, as they call it. All right, pull you back here, you can get a good look. This is the last time we are looking through any part of this trailer. That's the upper wall, bed cantilevers forward, and then the lower walls right here. And that I'm about to set in place here. So here you could see the cleats, and this will all have glue on all three sides. These cleats are also glued in, going up there. And then that piece you saw on top here, that ties into here as well. So that wall will also be pulled in and made square to that panel. And this area here is the cantilever of the bed and where the nose of the motorcycle goes underneath right here. All right, next wall ready to go. The lower one isn't in yet. I'm just test fitting it now, but the other one, the upper one, is completely in, glued, mounted. And now I'm just doing my test fits here until it goes in nice and easy, and then I'll get the glue on. Lower wall is in. See the upper wall. This is the cantilever part where the bed will go back over the front wheel of the motorcycle. Let's see here, I've got this pulled together also, getting these walls square, and I'm about to tack all this into the cleats that have been glued and screwed to the walls. But meantime, I got the pocket screws on both corners, tying all this together so I can actually take this off. Same thing there, there's pocket screws going up in here, holding that wall in so it's square. And let me see if I can step out here, you can get a better look. So that is the now defined living area. This is the bed. The bed will come out just to, I think it's right in front of that white pegboard. Right there is going to be the bed. And going back, and that is will be a twin extra long mattress that will fit in there. And then this whole space here, this whole wall will all be cabinets, turning and coming over there with the sink and stove right in that section. All right, let's take a look on the backside. It is officially divided. Here's my garage. Again, I still have to scrape off some of that glue and get all this tacked in, but you can see the cantilever, and that's where the motorcycle wheel goes underneath here, so the motorcycle fits, and on the other side the bed fits. Well, thanks for watching, and it'll be a while before I'm back to here because I'm back to working on the overland truck.